Hello and welcome back to Image 1697. So we're about to start day 16, or actually not day 16, October 16th. And this is one of the larger chapters, so this may end up being two parts, okay? So in the previous part, we saw that Walter, Patrick, and Ryan had snuck into the library in order to do some research on the past of Greylock. Or more specifically, Ryan, I suppose, wanted to do a little bit more research, and more so about the witch. He ended up finding out that David, being the owner of the newspaper, was related to somebody that used to live there, who was a reverend. And if you kind of gather what's going on with the story, witches, the East Coast stuff, hysterias, people going crazy, whatnot, you can probably kind of gather what happened in the past, and that it was probably sort of like again, like how I said previously, like a crucible type thing, where people started saying like, oh, they're a witch, and then, there was indiscriminate finger pointing of neighbors, etc., etc. Bad stuff happening, basically. As Ryan would put, puritanical bullshit. What else? Oh, the librarian. Apparently something happened with the librarian where she ended up going feral and almost attacked Patrick. And did they go after Ryan? No, I think they went after Patrick because that's the person that they were seeing. Well, Ryan was in the basement of the archives with the librarian, so it's like, oh, something bad could have happened, but thankfully nothing did happen. They did discover that the whole follow Scorpio as above so below thing has to do with something that was in the photo that Ryan took, and that's their next lead. And yeah, pretty much that was it. Ryan had a dream about Ransom where he saw them, I guess, in the tower, but like looking off to like in a corner, kind of like Blair Witch style, and they couldn't speak to them, but like, Anyways, so yeah, without further ado, let us continue to October 16. October 16. It's another day at the Sun. Everyone is moving about their day, doing what they must to earn their salary. I feel sort of distant as I type away blankly at my computer. It feels wrong, sitting here while Ransom is missing somewhere, and we have a lead that we must follow. But at the same time, I find some comfort in the monotony of an average day of work. That haze is broken by the sudden sound of the door slamming. Even the constant chatter of the other employees is silenced immediately. We all look towards the source of the sound. At the room's entrance stands David, a deathly glare on his face. A sour mood isn't uncommon for him, but he looks straight up furious now. Without saying a word, the wolf holds up a newspaper, showing it off to the entire room, and throws it to the ground. Uh-oh. The employees look at each other awkwardly for a few seconds before one of them crouches down to pick up the paper. They unfold the paper and read the front page. Local photographers' disappearance rocks Vermont village. Ransom Wilkes, a 26-year-old bear, went missing in the late hours of Thursday, October 11th. Two anonymous sources came to the Burlington Herald to give us this information directly due to supposed neutrality from Greylock locals, including the town's newspaper, Greylock Sun. I thought that I said not to report on this, as we have it all under control. He speaks quietly, but there is venom in his words. Did you really think that you could get away from this, Ryan Birder? What? How did he know? The room stays quiet as everyone looks at me. I try to put on my best confused face that an innocent person would make. What makes you think that it was me? Don't bullshit me. Two anonymous sources. Two people who came to me wanting to report on Ransom's disappearance. One of them had arguably the closest connection to Ransom of us all. He directs his deathly glare at me, and I can feel it piercing me. David then lines up 2 of his fingers and flicks them towards him. "Come here, birder." The command is so quiet, but it's filled with so much venom that it could poison everyone in the room. But there is no more excuses that I can make now, so I walk timidly towards the wolf, trying to ignore the gazes of all of my peers. Walter steps in, clearly intending to take the brunt of David's inevitable wrath. "Please, David, it was my idea. If you're gonna punish someone, punish..." Yeah, I know that it was you too. Perkins. You're not as smart as you think you are." The cat goes silent and backs down immediately. David turns back to me and lowers his voice again. "I'm speaking to you, though, birder." I keep my gaze down, not wanting to look him in the eye. No facade that I could muster will save me now. I'm all exposed. "Why did you break my orders?" He tries to put on a calm facade, but I know that any wrong answer will shatter it. Fuck it, any answer is wrong with him. How David was treating Ransom's disappearance from day 1 has been bullshit. He needs to be called out for it. And if I won't, in front of almost everyone who works for him, then I don't know who will. Because I care. I repeat myself more confidently. Because I care. David cocks an eyebrow. Care about what? About Ransom. Okay, I get that. But that doesn't mean that you should sneak behind my back and break protocol. I can feel myself getting impatient. So why don't you care? Why don't I care? Buddy, I care about Ransom a lot. Liar. But I also care about Greylock. If you go reporting on a missing man in a small town, people will start going mad. If they learn of an unsolved mystery, pandemonium will ensue in the streets. Especially in a town like Greylock, where the disappearances are associated with the witch's story. That's his excuse? That's just a hypothetical, though. Hold on. I think that I might have caught a weak spot in his argument. I might have a chance to catch him off guard, but this could also go very wrong. Really? Just a few days ago you said that nobody would care. Really? Did I say that? Perhaps you were just hearing things. But it's true. People will start going mad if they keep hearing about unsolved mysteries, because they think that they might be next, you know? So that's why we keep quiet when these things happen. I finally look the wolf in the eyes. Is that why Samuel kept secrets? David's eyes widen slightly and a muscle in his face twitches. I think I got him. Who is Samuel? Don't bullshit me, David. Samuel Shelbourne, Reverend of Greylock in the late 1600s, tried to scrub all mentions of the witch trials from the town's history. The employees start murmuring amongst themselves. David's face starts to twitch more as fury slowly spreads across his face. How do you know all of that? You went to the library, didn't you? Into the archives without my permission? I guess erasing history runs in the family, huh? Don't change the subject, birder. Did you break into the library? The wolf's voice starts to rise. I forget about everything else going on around me as I raise my own voice. You're changing the subject. Why do you care so much about keeping us quiet? A man is missing, one of your own employees, and you just want us to shut up and not do anything about it? You be careful now, birder. No. You got a response? Are you hiding something, David? Huh? Are you forcing us to stay quiet because you got secrets and a reputation to maintain? Is that right? What the fuck is your problem? I see a flash of white as a loud snap cracks through the air. Several employees gasp before the room goes dead quiet. My gaze has been forcefully redirected to the side, and it takes me a minute to readjust myself. A sharp pain stings my left cheek. As I realize what's just happened, I start to raise my hand to touch my cheek. I also feel my ear being pinched and pulled. I feel the wolf's hot breath seeping into my ear. In this silence, his exhales pound against my eardrum. I can't get a good look at his face since he's forcing my head down and putting his muzzle against my ear. I am not messing around here. He whispers so sharply that it's almost like his words are stabbing my ears. You're lucky you still have a job. I'll be keeping a close eye on you now. You step out of line one more fucking time, and you're done. He holds my head down for a few more seconds to let those words settle in. Then he lets go, and I stumble backwards. I hold my face as I stand in front of my peers. They all look at me or David with fear. They don't dare say anything or even breathe. Walter is still standing there where he was, not looking at anything, shoulders hunched, ears pinned flat against his head, tail puffed up and between his legs. He looks like he wants to shrink inwards and disappear forever. I don't blame him. Go home. You're done for the day. I don't need to look at the wolf to know that that's targeted towards me. I look around the room, silently asking my peers for help. But they just stay silent in fear. No one is going to help. Not even Walter. I give up. There's nothing for me here. I feel my eyes burned as I yank my bag off of my desk and stomp out of the building without another word. Everyone else back to work. That includes you too, Perkins. As soon as I arrive home, I tear my bag off and throw it across the room, not really caring that anything in it might be broken. Fuck! I want to tear everything apart. I want to break shit and rip everything to shreds. I just end up ruffling my hair and punching the couch. Why does no one in this fucking town give a shit about anything? You know what? I don't care anymore. Fuck David. Fuck the Greylock's son. Fuck anyone who works at that godforsaken fucking place. And you know what? Fuck this town. I scream the words at the top of my lungs and fall in front of the couch. I just hold my head in my hands, trying to catch my breaths. I feel tears streaming down my face and my nose becoming runny. Why does no one care? I need to get it together. I can't just sit here. If no one else will work to find Ransom, then I will. Wherever he is, he's counting on me. But I just want to rest. What do I even do? What happened today was clearly the result of the stress of these past few days overflowing. As much as I want to find Ransom, I think that I should unwind for a bit. I won't get much done if I'm just stressed all the time. So I get up and head to the bedroom, picking my bag up along the way. I take my jacket off and just flop down onto my bed. I'm honestly surprised that none of the neighbors came to check on me. Then again, nobody really cares here. I feel eyes drooping and sleep starting to fade in. I might as well rest for a bit. I only end up napping for about 30 minutes, but that half hour is all that I need to correct myself. The first thing that I think to do is to log onto my personal laptop. I'm just curious to see what's going on with the image 1697 trend. It doesn't look like much, just more images of shadows claiming to be the true image 1697. I feel like I'm gonna go mad just looking at these fake pictures while trying to solve a real mystery. The Maze Game, image 1697 edition. What is this? Curious, I click on the link. Somebody actually made a flash game based on image 1697 in just a few days too? As much as I hate the internet is capitalizing on the real case of a missing man, I will admire how quick they were to make a whole game. Okay, I doubt that it will help, but there's no harm in playing. Oh no, you saw the real image 1697 and now you're trapped in a dark maze, but it seems to be endless. Can you make it out before it's too late? Which direction will you go? Good luck. Okay. The logic in this exposition has more holes than Swiss cheese, but sure. There's going to be a jump scare, isn't there? I start the game and I find myself represented as a small red square. In a simple blue room, paths go are in all four directions. There is a yellow star in one of the corners. I assume that marks the starting point. Okay, where should I go? I kind of already know, so I did end up playing this part ahead of time, so yeah. So I'm gonna go left. Then I'm gonna go up. Then I'm gonna go right. Then I'm gonna go down. Then up again. And then left. Oh, you fucker. I knew it. So what was the point of this? I scroll back down to the comment section. Dumb and lazy. I jump scared my baby sister with this lamau. What does this have to do with image 1697? All I see is a scary maze game, but with the image 1697's name. Apparently one of the pictures in Ransom Wilkes' blog post was a dark cave. It also had a 6-star symbol that some interpreted to be the symbol as above, so below. The marker of this game apparently translated that, maker, as having to go back in the direction that you came from several times. Eat the baby. That reply catches my attention quick. Ransom took pictures of a cave? Where are there caves? The mentioning of the phrase as above, so below catches my attention more, though. This is the second time that I've seen that phrase mentioned in relation to Ransom. What could this mean? I don't know. I should probably take this user with a grain of salt. Well, this wasted my time. I closed the Games tab and continued looking for new stuff. As soon as I reached the same old stuff that I saw last time, I refreshed the browser. Internet shocked, parents alarmed after teenager suicide, purportedly caused by image 1697 myth. What? Reading that new headline feels like a weight has dropped on my chest. I have to know what this is, and so I opened the article. Last night, an Adelaide teenager live-streamed her suicide online, alarming the internet. Mia Bird, a 16-year-old Tasmanian devil, filmed the livestream with the intent of capturing her reaction to image 1697, a recent internet trend that tells of an image that makes those who see it go mad unless they share it. Bird starts the stream by saying that her friend is about to send her the true image 1697. After supposedly seeing the image, she begins displaying erratic behavior. She can be seen convulsing for several seconds before breaking her window and stabbing herself in the face with the shards. Her parents found her body, ended the livestream, and contacted police. Bird was confirmed dead just 10 minutes after the livestream ended. Just reading this article is making me sick. Is this really what this trend is doing to the internet? Wait, hold on. Erratic behavior? Those who see the image go mad? I need to know more. I go back to the browser and look up Mia Bird image 1697. I see several headlines from official news sites, Australian, American, English, etc., telling the same story. Then my eyes fall on one particular result. Full Mia Bird image 1697 suicide livestream. Is this real? Or just clickbait? I don't recognize a website name. Out of pure morbid curiosity, I open the link in the new tab. God, please don't destroy my computer. The video is the first thing that loads. Just like any old video sharing site, other recommended videos pop up on the side. The recommended video title mentions things like war footage and real murder. Great. This is one of those real-life gore sites. Yep, this is totally safe for my computer. Well, to start off, the video quality is horrendous. What did she film this on? It appears that the Tasmanian devil is streaming in her bedroom. She's just sitting in front of the camera, looking at something off screen. I assume that might be her computer or something. This was live streamed, so perhaps she's waiting for people to join. Alright. My friend is about to send me the real image 1697. Yes, she found it. At least she says she did. Mia looks very calm, scoffing and giggling. My stomach sinks when I remember what I had read in the article. Even now, I can feel my limbs freeze as I just wait for it to happen. Honestly, wondering if I even believe this shit. Just the picture, right? How could it make me go mad? Then she looks at the site again. Oop, there it is. Image 1697, folks. There is a brief pause as I assume that she opens a text or email. She just stays there staring at the screen, not saying a word for several seconds. And then her smile completely drops. Her eyes widen slightly, and her face goes blank. I can see something reflected in her eyes, but it's hard to see with the terrible video quality. It almost looks like a blue blinking light. What the hell is on that screen? Whoa, what's happening? Is this the erratic behavior the article described? Wait, didn't the librarian breathe like this in the archives? Is this what? Out of nowhere, the devil throws herself backwards and she starts screaming. The girl who was calm just a moment ago is now thrashing around and shrieking. Like all self-control is gone. All of this from an image? She starts crawling around the room on all fours, groaning and occasionally barking. Who is this person? The wild devil raises her head, screaming again, and the sound of glass shattering is extremely loud with the poor quality of the audio. I lean forward, bringing my face close to the screen to try to get a better look. I can see the devil kneeling with her head through the window. And then she pulls her head out of the pane. There is still a good portion of the glass left in the frame. What is she? No! My body goes numb. I can only stare as Mia just throws her head right into the glass. Sensations slowly start to come back to my body. I curl up in a ball and just stare at the computer now at the other end of the bed. It's hard to breathe. Even from here, I can see the devil still kneeling by the window. The glass shards are big enough that they slice through her entire head. And she just stays there, not moving. The video keeps playing, but nothing happens. I don't know how long I stay there, just staring at the screen, panic boiling throughout my entire body. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, I hear a door open. It's only when I hear the screams that I force myself to move. I scramble over to the computer, close the tab, and slam the lid down. Is this? No, this can't. Is this what image 1697 does? What was on that screen? Ransom, what have you found? What have you unleashed? Jim, he's seen the image. Maybe he can tell me what it is. Perhaps he has it saved. I'm starting to think that he's not so crazy. The ballroom thing can wait. There is something that I need to do now. And so I force myself onto my feet, I hastily throw my jacket and bag on and rush out of the door. The clouds are thick again today. Once more, I feel myself being pushed down by the heavy clouds that trudge across the sky and refuse to let any sunlight through. The leaves look more dead than they usually are. Instead of vibrant, warm colors, I just see browns fading into the dim blue afternoon. The wind is colder today. My jacket is barely adequate for this kind of weather. The environment just adds to the increasing anxiety as I speed walk through Greylock. I'm pretty sure Jim's complex is on 19th Street? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I remember he invited my family over for dinner once, sometime before his wife died. So that's on the eastern side of town. I find myself almost running through town as I try to find the complex. I look around me as if there will be any suspicious people out on the streets. But the people I see just go about their day, walking down the street as if nothing is happening. Thankfully, it only takes me like 20 minutes to find the complex. It looks normal from the outside. I'm not seeing any broken windows. I can't see anything just looking through the windows. They just peer into the darkness. I'm pretty sure that I remember what Jim's truck looks like. Yes, the old white truck is in the parking lot. Looks like he's home. I quickly make my way inside, both out of desperation and to get out of the winter-like wind. Let's see here. I'm pretty sure his room number is 219. I make my way up the stairs right next to the entrance. One of the dim, cool light bulbs flicker as I reach the second floor. I walk through the hallway, trying to look as casual as possible. I don't see anyone else in the hallway. I feel like a stranger in a strange land here. Finally, I reach Jim's room, which just so happens to be at the very end of the hallway. The light above this part of the hall has gone out, leaving me in the darkness as I stand in front of the door. I start by knocking on the door. Jim? I wait a few seconds, but he doesn't respond. Jim? Jim, I really need to talk to you, man. I look around me anxiously. No one emerges from their apartments. It's almost like Jim is the only one living on this floor. Mr. Delaney? Please, I need to talk to you about that blog post. I look around me again. Still no one in the hall. Still no one answers. So I resort to slamming the door with my palm. Please, man, I need to know what you... In my desperation, I tried to turn the door handle, and it went down without any problem. I just stand there for several seconds, looking at my hand holding the handle down. Is the door unlocked? There's only one way to test that. Keeping the handle down, I gently push the door. The door creaks open, revealing an empty living room to me. As it opens, I feel a cloud of dread seeping out of the room, washing over me. I don't see the old otter or any signs of him immediately. But I saw his truck here. He has to be here. And so, despite my instincts screaming at me to run far, far away, I step inside. It's dark in here. Any natural lighting coming in through the windows has been eclipsed by blinds and curtains. It feels damp and dense in here, and it somehow feels as heavy as the clouds outside. And there is a foul odor tickling my nose. It's sweet, way too sweet, and acrid. It smells sort of like rotten fruit right next to feces. What happened in here? The last time that I was in here, it was not like this. Jim and his wife always let in as much natural light as possible, and they were obsessed with tidiness. I knew Jim wasn't doing well after Miss Delaney died, but is he really doing this unwell? Or is this a result of him seeing image 1697? Either way, after seeing the place, it's clear to me that he needs help. Jim? I don't see him anywhere in here, which means that there is one place to check. So I head over to the bedroom. I don't see any lights coming through the cracks under the door. As I approach the door, that sense of dread that I've been feeling ever since Ransom first disappeared becomes stronger than ever. This feeling that something awful is going to happen reaches an all-time high. I don't feel safe in here, but I have to do this. Whatever Jim knows about Image 1697, I have to talk to him. And so, I gently open his bedroom door. The low light slowly pours into the dark room. Eventually, the lights fall on something laying on the bed. It looks like an otter, but there are holes all over its body. Empty holes. There's nothing left inside of it but crimson and bones. The head looks barely attached with how deep the laceration in his neck are. Speaking of the head, there isn't a face attached to it. The bed and the floor and walls around it are painted red. The stench that I had been smelling ever since I entered the apartment, it gets overwhelming. It assaults my nostrils and it makes me want to retch. I just stand there, frozen, unable to look away from Jim. Or what's left of him. As I just stare at the cadaver, I notice that the lacerations all over his body aren't just any kinds of injury. They're bite marks. Something got in here and made a mess of the otter. Whatever got to him, it's out there somewhere. I feel my stomach rising. I feel myself choking. I stumble away from the bedroom. I lean over, hands on my knees, as bile threatens to rise up of my throat. No, I have to get it together. It's clear that something has happened to Jim before this. I have to find out what it is. He was talking about being followed, stalked, by a bear he claimed was Ransom. How do I even know that he was telling the truth? If he really was stalked, how would he know that it was Ransom? There are plenty of brown bears in Greylock. But the way that he was acting, he was really scared. Maybe he really did see Image 1697. There's only one way to find out. I have to go back in there. As much as I want to run as far away from this building as possible, I have to investigate. And so, I take a deep breath as I walk back into the dark bedroom. Even as I breathe through my mouth, I can taste the horrific acrid odor emanating from the cadaver of Jim Delaney. I try to keep my eyes away from the gory mess on the bed, instead looking around the edges of the room. Eventually, I notice a phone on the bedside table. I have to force my gaze closer to the bed to see it. I then force myself to walk through the room towards the phone. I shudder as I continue to breathe in the deadly stench. I finally reach the bedside table. I reach my hand towards the phone with much caution, fearing that touching it will cause the otter to reanimate or something like that. Thankfully, nothing happens when I do grab the phone. I'm sorry, Jim. Please forgive me. Upon turning on the phone, the first thing that I see is a wallpaper featuring Jim with his late wife. They look so happy together. Miss Delaney was very sweet, although her speeches at church were a bit much. I unlocked the phone. Wait, no passcode? Not to slam someone who died, but come on, Jim. You gotta have a passcode. That's like the number one rule of having a cell phone. Okay, where to start? I'll just do what I did when I checked Ransom's phone. Check the photos first. And so I checked his most recent photo. It's dated yesterday, 9:27 p.m. In the picture, I see the forest. It seems like this was taken for the apartment. The picture just looks normal at first. Random, but normal. Until I see the figure in the tree line. It's hard to see because it's far away, but I zoom in to get a better look. From the darkness, I see two bright dots peering right at the camera. No light illuminates the figure, so it just looks like a blob against the dark forest. I'm surprised this phone camera had even managed to capture that. It definitely seems like this figure is watching Jim. Hell, it makes me feel like I'm being watched. Then again, that feeling has persisted for days, and it refuses to go away. The prickling in my nape is constant. Wait. I rechecked the date on the picture. Yesterday, 9:27 p.m. It must mean that he died overnight or today. Hell, it looks like his body hasn't started decomposing yet. For all I know, the killer could have left right before I arrived. That thought makes me shudder, so I look around me to make sure that I'm alone. Even with the confirmation that I am alone, albeit in the dark room with the corpse, I still feel like someone is watching me. Anybody could be in here. I go to the next place that I think to check, Jim's messages. The first conversation that I see is with an unknown number, so I check on it. You said one thing about the blog post and you're dead. Oh, you say one thing. Who is this? Are you that raccoon? The birder kid? Maybe I am. Maybe I'm your next door neighbor. Maybe I'm a pigeon barista at a cafe. Stop this. This is not funny. I will call the police won't help you. And I know where you are. Call them and you're dead. The messages and the pictures of the complex send a shiver down my spine. Not only was he being stalked, he was also being threatened. Whose number is this? Oh God, I'm about to do something stupid. I pull out my own phone and go to my messages. I create a new conversation and type in the number. David Shelbourne. I take several seconds to process what I'm looking at. I look between Jim's phone and mine a couple of times to make sure that the numbers match. And when I realize that they do, every part of my body freezes. Was the stalker David? No, his fur is gray, not brown. Which must mean that he was working with someone. But either way, if what I'm seeing is true, this means that he took part in this. He threatened Jim, and he must have said whoever the stalker was on him. And all this over Ransom's blog post? He knows something. That freezing in my body starts to become a burning. The fear is still there. In fact, it's stronger than ever before, violently churning inside of me. But inside I also feel anger and an epiphany. David is hiding something, and it's about whatever Ransom posted that night. It's about image 1697. So that's why he wanted us to stay quiet, because he's fucking hiding something. He did this. The edges of my vision become blurry as anxiety and anger overcome me. I guess there's one thing that I have to do. Gee, I wonder what that thing is. I try to shove the fear aside as I make my way downtown. I hold my back close to my side and I feel around it to make sure that the gun is still hidden inside. My parents weren't home, which gave me the perfect opening to sneak inside and take one of Dad's pistols from their closet. I did make sure to put a magazine in before I left. The sky gets darker and an orange light peaks under the clouds on the horizon as afternoon transitions to evening. Although I feel more focused than ever, I still feel the anxiety boiling in my stomach. The feeling that something terrible is about to happen. It will all depend on what happens tonight. Thankfully, I don't run into anyone that I know as I arrive downtown. Soon, I'm in front of the place where I work. The Greylock sun stands menacingly before me. The lights are on, though the windows don't reveal anyone inside. I don't stop. I just walk straight inside. There is an eerie silence as I enter the building. I'm so used to seeing people here that seeing this place empty makes it ominous. I don't see anyone right by the entrance, So the next place that I check is the main room. As I walk, I slide my hand into my bag, holding the gun and keeping it hidden. And there he is. Standing on the other side of the room, sipping from a coffee mug, his back to me, is David. Because of the silence in the room, he immediately hears my footsteps. The wolf turns around to face me. Ryan? He doesn't seem surprised to see me. In fact, he still wears that surly expression common to him. David? What are you doing here? I shouldn't pull the gun out just yet. Perhaps I can get something out of him. I found Jim. Which Jim? There are plenty of Jims here. Jim Delaney. I saw what you did to him. I saw your messages. David scoffs and chuckles. What are you on about? Don't bullshit me, David. I saw threatening messages on his phone from your number. You say one thing about that blog post, and you're dead. Is that right? Oh dear. Did something happen to him? You know what happened to him, you fucker? Whoa. Hey now, Ryan. That's no way to speak to your boss. I know you're upset about earlier. To be honest, I think that I went a bit hard on you. I apologize. But there's no need to cuss. He's being evasive. He's very calm too. All it's doing is making my blood boil. Where is Ransom? Aw, jeez. You're still on about that. I told you to drop it, birder. And why's that? Because you're hiding something? What was on Ransom's blog post? Why did you threaten Jim to not talk about it? Did you take it down? Oh, please, Ryan. Now you're just sounding like a conspiracy theorist. This is exactly why I told you to drop the case, because you're too quick to come to bullshit conclusions. Really? I thought you told us to drop the case because you feared it would cause chaos on the streets. David finally breaks his expression and glares at me. Yeah, that too. You know, you're not as clever as you think you are, birder. My frustration finally boils over. I unleash the pistol from my bag and point it right at David. The wolf looks surprised for a bit, but then he just chuckles and takes a sip from his mug. This is a bit extreme, don't you think? I'm not messing around, David. Where the fuck is Ransom? What will you do if I don't answer? Shoot me? Kill me? If you do that, then you won't get any answers. Quit fucking around. Tell me. What did you do to him? His smile disappears. He takes a breath and another sip of coffee before setting the mug down. You know, Ryan, there is a fine line between persistence and stubbornness. And I'm afraid that you're falling into the stubborn side. I don't know where Ransom Wilkes is. Tell the truth. Admit it, you coward. But I can see that you're going too far. How about this? You put the gun down and walk away, and I won't tell a single soul about this interaction. Hell, I'll even give you a raise. Do we have a deal? I grit my teeth and growl through them, never lowering the gun pointed at the wolf. Not until you tell me where Ransom is. David's expression finally drops to annoyance. He closes his eyes and exhales in a look of resignation. I'm so close. The silence is damning, even though it only lasts for a few seconds. Finally, David speaks lowly. So be it. I didn't want it to come to this, but you left me no choice. I'm sorry, Ryan. Huh? Out of nowhere, I see a flash of white and feel a horrific searing pain in my back. It's the most intense pain that I ever felt. Ah! But David's in front of me. Someone's behind me. I feel like I'm being held in place by whatever's stabbing my back. So I point the pistol over my shoulder and try to shoot the attacker. But a large hand just swats the gun out of my hand. It's then that I feel my back free from the attacker's grasp. Ah! I turn around to look at my attacker, and I only see them for a split second before I feel something slicing my face. There is so much force in the strike that I fall to the floor. Shit. Is this the person who killed Jim? I see the gun on the floor across the room. I try to scramble to my feet, but the attacker kicks my legs and I fall back down. My heart and my brain pound as I try to crawl over to the gun. David doesn't bother interacting with the fight. He just stays out of the way, observing. Another kick, this time to my lower back, right where the cut is. Yeah! The slices on my back and face send a fire raging through my entire body. It hurts. It hurts so fucking much. I hear a growl above me. Shit, I have to move. I finally reach the gun and grab the handle. The attacker above me lets out a deafening roar. I feel them lunging towards me. I hold my breath as I turn around and ready the gun. The world stops as the gunshot cracks through the air. My ears ring for a good minute before I'm left in silence, more deafening than the gunshot. I let short panicking breaths out as my heart continues to pound against my chest. I just lay there, still tense as I look up at the blood and brain matter splattered all on the ceiling. Who did I just shoot? I see. A brown bear with a hole in his head. Their yellow eyes. They look familiar, though they're fading as blood oozes from the hole. The bear looks thin, though a bit pudgy. Their left hand is replaced with a long, sharp hook, their sleeve stained red. Wait. I recognize this person. I scramble to my feet, gun still in shaky hands. My breaths get more uneven as I stare at the bear. Ransom? No. This can't be. Tell me I'm wrong. Oh, hey, you found him. I flinch as I hear David's voice and I remember that he's still here. He's unfazed, even after all of this. The wolf looks down at the bear's body. Oh no. Ryan. What have you done? No. Please tell me that this is the different bear. No, Ryan, why would you do that? The wolf feigns shock as I panic. How could he? The edges of my vision become blurry. My limbs become numb. I look at David and speak, my voice shaking and breaking. What is this? But the wolf just looks past me. Oh, hey, Walter. Look who Ryan found. Huh? I follow his gaze and see Walter at the entrance. He's frozen. He looks right at me, his eyes wide and mouth agape in pure terror. My hand becomes shaky, and it drops the gun. No. Wall. I look between the bear's corpse and the petrified cat. Sorry, Ryan. But you're a murderer. I... My vision becomes blurry and I become unable to stand. I feel myself fall as I drift away. Everything becomes black. It feels oddly calm. It's silent too. It feels like I'm floating in water, like a gentle river is carrying me downstream. Sort of like that one painting. What was it called? Ophelia? That piece doesn't last long though, as I soon feel sensations coming back to me. A sharp pain pricks at my back and face. Ah! I turn to lay on my side and rub at my lower back. Something shifts in the area where I was slashed. It might be loose skin. I open my eyes, but they immediately droop from immense fatigue. Fuck. How long was I out? What am I laying on? A concrete slab? It's not helping with my back. Where am I? I rub as much of the fatigue away from my eyes as I can before opening them. Huh? This isn't my room. The room that I'm in is dark and empty. Little light pours in through a tiny window. It must be night. I'm surrounded on all sides by thick walls, except one side of the room, which ends with a row of bars. Wait, what is this? Why am I in here? Something's wrong. Ransom. My stomach and heart sink as I remember the bear's dying face. My blood freezes again, and the fatigue leaves my body to be replaced by panic. Did that really happen? I scramble off the bed and move towards the bars. I peer through the bars in an attempt to look for anyone. Hello? The words bounce off the walls, but there is no immediate response. I feel my breaths get uneven. Hello? Why am I in here? Hello? I slam on the metal bars, but that only ends up hurting my hand. No one comes. My heart starts to pound again. No. No. Shit. My mind speeds through everything that just took place and many different possibilities, none of which are good. The look in Ransom's eyes. The way he just laid there. The way a single loud crack made everything go quiet. He got shot, and I was the one holding the gun. No. I stumble backwards away from the bars. My legs go numb again. My vision becomes blurry. My breaths become more uneven. I find myself unable to process what just happened. What's gonna happen to me? I hear a door open. I try to suppress my panic as I scramble back to the bars, keeping me inside. I look in the direction the sound came from, and I see 3 people coming down the hall. A lizard woman. She must be a guard. Behind her, I see a lion and a cat. Patrick and Walter? Yes. Patrick, Walter. The trio stops in front of the cell, and they face me. Thank God, I... My words drift off as I notice their faces. Walter looks at me with fear and anger. Patrick's face is unreadable. I can't tell what he's thinking. Pat? Is it true? My boyfriend's voice is low and shaky. The little spark of hope that I had left when they came down is snuffed out in an instant. I found myself at a loss for words. What? I saw you. Walter's voice has a slight growl put onto it, but it also falters. You were holding the gun. Rance. I don't think that I've ever seen the cat this shaken. He tries to put on an intimidating tone, but his voice betrays that he's on the verge of crying. Oh, I should say now since you were unconscious. Ryan Berter, you have been charged with first-degree murder of Ransom Wilkes and are now awaiting trial. That sentence stabs my chest. It feels so wrong in so many ways. What? No. He attacked me. You claim it was self-defense? Please, Ransom wouldn't hurt a fly. No, please. I didn't know that it was him, and he attacked me. Look, these. I showed them the slashes on my face and back. That was him. I think he was gonna kill me. That's bullshit. Ransom would never kill anyone. Walter, Pat, please. It's David. He's behind all of this. He killed Jim Delaney, and he conspired with Ransom somehow. I don't know, but... They just look at me, and I lose my thought process again. Soon I just resort to pleading. Please. There is a heavy silence broken only by our shaky breaths. I can't tell what Patrick is thinking, but I can see many emotions clashing on his face. Walter refuses to make eye contact with me. You know what? Fuck all of this. We wanted to find Ransom, right? The cat looks at me with glossy eyes, and he scoffs as his mouth contorts into an angry grin. Well, we found him, and he's dead now. So, it was all for nothing, huh? That last sentence is a stake going through my heart. Without another word, the cat turns around and starts walking away. Wait, Walter! Please, you know that... I'm sorry, Walter! Without looking back, the cat throws the door open and leaves the lockup. I feel myself getting desperate. Patrick, my boyfriend, is still here, looking at me with the same conflicted expression. Pat? He finally breaks eye contact with me, and he looks around the room uncomfortably. His mouth opens slightly. But then he just exhales. Pat, please, don't tell me that you believe that. The lion just looks down, leaving me in a damning silence. Patrick. I'm sorry. I need to think for a bit. I become paralyzed as I look at him. He turns to the side and hesitates. Sorry. And then he starts walking. Patrick? The lion holds his head down as he walks away. He doesn't look back at me. The lizard guard walks behind him. She gives me a scowl as she escorts him out. No, Patrick, please. Tell me that you don't believe that. Patrick! Patrick, please come back! Tears pour down my face and my voice breaks. I slam the cage with my arms, but it only sends a shockwave of pain throughout my upper body. Everything hurts. I drop to my knees and just lean against the bars as I weep. Pat, please. Please don't. I don't hear anyone. He's gone. I'm all alone. I'm left in the darkness, sobbing harder than I have ever have before. I lost. I've dedicated myself to finding Ransom, and I ended up just being his demise. I'm a murderer. Walter hates me now. I don't know where my parents are, but I bet they would hate me too. And now Patrick, my boyfriend, the love of my life, the man who held me and made me feel safe and warm when I most needed it. He's gone too. I lost everything. I failed. I'm sorry, Ryan. Huh? Who said that? I open my eyes, my head still against the cage. I look around the hall trying to find the source of the voice. But there's no one here. I'm still alone. Now I'm imagining things. God, I'm a failure. I have so many regrets and I'm so sorry, Ryan. But I hear a voice. What it's saying isn't reflecting my thoughts. It sounds familiar. God, I wish that I could apologize to you directly. Uh, hello? The voice pauses. I still see no one outside the cell. Ryan? There it is again. Is that in my head? Hello? Something moves behind me. Ryan? Ah! I scream, which only puts more strain on my already broken voice. I try to back away from the thing, but my back immediately hits the metal bars, sending more pain throughout my body. I'm trapped. I panic again as I'm forced to look at the thing resembling Ransom. He still has the bullet hole in his head. The ghastly bear stands up and holds his hands up in an attempt to calm me down. Whoa, hey, Ryan, it's... I try to catch my breath, but they refuse to slow down. Ransom? Yes, Ryan, I force myself to hold my breath, only letting out small gasps. You... you can see me? I just look at the bear, unable to believe what I'm seeing. This can't be Ransom, right? You can see me. You can see me. Oh God, you can see me. Yes. The thing resembling Ransom paces around the cell, cheering and laughing. No. No, I shot him. I killed him. So then, why is he in front of me? Am I hallucinating? Ransom? Is it really you? Yes, it is. But how are you here? Well, to be honest, I have no idea how you can see me. Hell, I think it's a miracle that you can. The bear chuckles excitedly. Holy shit, this is gonna change everything. What do you mean? The ghost of Ransom kneels in front of me to meet me eye to eye. Did you see my most recent blog post? Uh, I... I saw a bit of it. It was taken down. Shit. Of course it was. Anyways, Ryan, I found something. Something that will change everything. everything that we thought we knew about Greylock. What is it? The bear leans in closer. The witch is real. I just look at Ransom, not sure what to think. The bear exhales. Look, I know. The witch is probably the last thing that you want to hear about right now. But listen to me, Ryan. The witch is real, and she's the reason all of this is happening. What are you talking about? And her curse? Well, it's not actually the witch, but David. Ryan, it's him that's making people disappear, alongside demons? I don't really know. But what I do know is that David is disappearing people trying to look for the witch. I never found out what it is, but there is something about the witch that he's trying to hide. I knew David was involved somehow. But the witch? And Image 1697? Huh? Oh yeah, so while you were missing, your blog post kind of went, viral. It became a whole thing where people tried to recover photos after the post was taken down. One of the pictures, Image 1697, couldn't be recovered, so people started making fakes. It became like a whole thing where you would go mad if you saw the picture unless you shared it. Huh. Well, there goes my 15 seconds of internet fame. Something's still not adding up. Ransom, where have you been? We've been looking for you. Well, it's complicated. I'm pretty sure that I was possessed. Possessed? Like by a demon? Let me explain as best as I can. Possession is a curious state of being. Two spirits inhabiting one body, the possessor and the host. The possessor wrestles control of the body from the host, leaving them to watch from the sidelines. The possessor can then use the body for whatever it wants. It eats away at the host's power as time goes on, so the longer the possessor stays in the body, the stronger it becomes. As a result, the host becomes weaker and can also be permanently lost if the body is possessed long enough. Additionally, the possessor won't feel any injuries that the body sustains, but the host will. A possessor is like a parasite in those regards. Right after I made that post, I sort of blacked out. Well, I was still there, but I couldn't do anything. Something had taken control of my body, and I was forced to just watch. I had no power. Thank you for coming, Ransom. There I was, sitting in the forest with David. Forced to just sit and watch. Your left arm, please. My body rolled up its sleeve and lifted up its left arm, but it wasn't me that did it. I could only watch. Try not to move. This will only take a few seconds. Watch as David put on a glove and pull out a hacksaw. I could only watch as the wolf gripped my hand tightly. I could only watch as the metal teeth tore through my flesh. It was the worst pain that I'd ever felt, but I wasn't allowed to react to it. You're doing wonderfully. At one point, David had dropped my hand while he was almost done, just to see what it would do. I could only watch as my hand dangled from my arm, hanging on by a few threads of flesh. Sorry about that. Was just curious. We're almost done. And I could only watch as my hand was completely separated, leaving my arm to end in a bloody stump. Amazing job, Ransom. You took it like a champ. With this, hopefully people will get the idea to not look for you. And he just dropped my hand onto the forest floor. I just sat there, bleeding and bleeding. But he wasn't done with me yet. You know, I actually have a little prize for you, since you did so well. And then he dug into his bag and pulled out a large hook. I could only watch as he dug one end of the hook into the stump of my arm. When he got it stuck, he shoved it in, burrowing one end of the hook right into the bone marrow. I could only watch as he tried to sew the stump shut, so it wouldn't bleed out and so the hook would stay in. Ta-da! You're like a real-life Candyman. We're gonna do some good things together. David often kept me in a hidden room at the Sun. There, I would be forced to sit and just stare at a computer screen. This computer screen would be flashing the exact same image. It was an image that I can't even describe. It made me feel like I was gonna go mad. I could feel my instincts begging to take over, but I couldn't unleash those primal urges because I wasn't in control. Hell, I'm surprised that I still have coherent thoughts right now. David used this image as a method of hypnosis. Now, hypnosis is not the same as possession. They are similar in that they can both be defined as external forces taking control of one's body and bending them to their will, but they are not the same. Hypnosis is sort of like a lesser form of possession. Not everyone seeking control can communicate with spirits, let alone conjure them, so they put their subjects into a trance. It is said that people under hypnosis start to lose their sense of self, and hence they are compelled to give in to their primal urges. This can, of course, have deadly consequences if not properly controlled. David conducted an experiment where he sent the hypnotizing image to random people. They all died by suicide, some of them even murdering others. I assume the reason David had me look at that image was to weaken my sense of self, so the demon inside me could grow stronger. And then, he sicked me on Jim Delaney. For a brief moment, I was allowed to give in to those primal urges. I could only watch as it all happened. I murdered Jim, but that wasn't me. Ransom looks genuinely shaken as he recounts his tale. So he was the one who stalked and killed Jim. So you've been hiding all this time? Under David's control? Yes. But now that I'm free, we can talk to each other. I believe that there is hope. We can work together. We can expose David and end this cycle once and for all. Still kneeling down, the ghostly bear reaches his hand out towards me. What do you say, Ryan? I don't know. This sense of loss, from me killing Ransom, to Patrick and Walter leaving me, to me being trapped in this jail cell, it overwhelms me. It's holding me down in this grimy cell. I don't know if I can keep going. And so I just turn my head away and bury it in my arms. Ransom's expression becomes somber and he lowers his hand. Look, I know that this is a lot, and I know how you must feel right now. God knows that I would be reacting the same way if our roles were swapped. Imagining myself in Ransom's situation, it terrifies me. I don't know if I would even survive several days of that. Patrick's gone. He'll come back. Huh? He loves you too much, truly. I know you two have been good to each other. You deserve to be happy together. Believe me, he'll come back. He tries to reassure me, but I'm not sure if it's working. It doesn't really help that this guy is my ex. But listen to me, Ryan. If we don't do this, people will keep disappearing. People will keep dying. All for a lie. I know that it might seem hopeless right now, but if we end this cycle of violence... And then what? I'm awaiting trial for murder. I'm going to prison. Oh, that? Nah, that was self-defense. They can't prosecute you for that. But Don't worry. The evidence will come up, and it will show that you were defending yourself. You won't go to prison. And besides, if we expose David as the mastermind behind all of this, it will surely clear your name. Look, Ryan, you did what you could. You were innocent, through and through. I look back at the bear. So, shall we? He offers his hand again. I still have that feeling that I've lost everything. This is probably the lowest that I've ever felt in my entire life. But, can we really do this? Hey, I'm gonna need you to trust me on this one, okay? Ransom seems like he knows what to do. Yeah, perhaps we can do this. Okay. I reach out and try to take a hold of his hand. But then my hand just faces through his. I don't feel anything except for a cold blast on my hand. Oh. I guess we can't really touch each other. Oh well. I slowly get up to my feet and Ransom follows. So, how do I get out of here? Well, this looks like a pretty old-timey cell. I think this jail's been around since the 60s. Anyways, this looks like a pretty standard lock. I think that you could pick this. Okay, let me see if I feel around my pockets, but they're empty. I look around the cell. And then something hits me. They took my bag. Shit, of course they would. Oh yeah, David left it at the Sun. Seriously? Yeah, we'll work around it. How sharp are your claws? Not really. Last time I trimmed them was like last week. Well, I guess you could file them? Huh? Just one though. One is all you need. Well, let's see. The walls are concrete. That might work. Even just the thought of filing a claw on those walls makes me shiver. I don't want to do that. Well, what else can we do? Wait for the guard? She's not gonna let us out. I give a heavy, defeated exhale. Fine. This is going to be horrible. I squat down next to one of the walls and bear the claw on my right pointer finger. So, just file this until it's thin and sharp and then just pick the lock? Not too thin that it will snap. We don't want it getting stuck in the lock. Oh boy. Let's just get this over with. And so I start rubbing my claws back and forth on the rough walls. The feeling and sound of it shoots an unpleasant tingle throughout my body. God, I am not gonna survive this. I feel a twinge in my finger as part of my nail snaps off. I know, sorry about this. It's fine, just... I rub the nail more aggressively, trying to get it to a good thickness as soon as possible. Tell me when to stop. I bite at my tongue as I try to fight through the horrible sensation. Ransom observes my hand closely, waiting to give the cue. Okay, stop. I gratefully pull my hand away from the wall and look at the damage. Jesus. The nail is horribly uneven, and it's now asymmetrical. But at least the tip looks sharp. Okay, that's good. Let's go. So I head back to the bars and check to make sure that no one else is here. Okay, coast is clear. I find the lock hanging on the other side of the door. Okay, this better work. The gap between the bars is too narrow for me to fit my entire hand through. This is going to require a bit of maneuvering. I reach my left hand through the bars and turn the lock in a way that my right hand can get through the hole. Then I reach my right hand through and feel around the lock, awkwardly with my fingers. When I find the hole, I try to shove the mangled claw into it. It does go in, though it feels weird and uneven. So, what? How do I twist? I don't know, just like mess around with the lock or something. I'm sure that it will click when it unlocks. Fuck. Okay, here goes nothing. And then I start turning. I have no idea which way to go, so I just turn in random angles, hoping that something will give in. At one point, I feel a snap coming from the claw and a twinge in my finger. Ah! What? What happened? Fuck, I just twisted my finger. It's fine. I start turning again, becoming more frantic and random. Please, 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 please. Haha! Something clicks and the lock suddenly feels loose. I pull the shackle out of the lock space and take it off the door. I push the door gently and it opens. Aha! Yes! I then pull my claw out of the lock and look at the results. A good chunk of the claw was taken off while I was in the lock. My god, this looks horrible. Ooh, ouch. I'll be okay. Okay, there should be a back exit. I quietly rush down the hall in the opposite direction from the guard's office. And sure enough, there is another exit. And so I finally break out of this concrete prison. And that's where I'm gonna leave it for today. So a lot of stuff happened, and the very big revelation that David is basically the one behind everything, or at the very least, he appears to be the one that's behind everything. He was the one that, well, he wasn't the one that was possessing Ransom, but he was the one that was keeping Ransom, I guess, quote-unquote locked up. Basically, he was the one that was, I guess, telling Ransom what to do. He had Jim killed because he was running his mouth about like the whole, oh, image 1697, it's cursed and blah, 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 blah. So he decided to threaten him and then sick Ransom on him. And the whole reason why Ransom disappeared is because he was being possessed, basically. And he was possessed by whatever it is that David controls, or whatever it is that David is using in order to, I guess, do the things that he's doing, for lack of a better word. And unfortunately, because Ryan acted in self-defense and accidentally killed Ransom, now Walter and Patrick have more or less left Ryan in jail. But now he has another partner, who happens to be a ghost. So, yeah. And how Walter said, like, well, you found Ransom. Yeah. Well, I wonder what's gonna happen. Anyway, so what are your thoughts so far? This was gonna end up being a 3-hour long video because the current day is essentially 3 hours long, but I decided to split it up, so oh well. You guys do not have the attention span for that. Anyway, so yeah, write down in the comments what you think, and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Image 1697 yourself, you can do so by going down into the link in the description, which will have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download and play the game yourself. And they do not have any form of support, so if and when they do decide to get something like that, I will post a link down in the description for that. If you want to become a channel member and help support the channel and help support me, you can become a channel member. And you should see the little link below the video to do that, or it will be in the description. In case you can't do that, you can also join, or not join, you can, just donate through Ko-fi. If you do become a channel member though, you do get earlier access to these videos as they're being scheduled. So I recorded this on November 4th, and hopefully it's gonna go out by well, tonight preferably, which is the 6th, but probably by the 7th. So like, yeah, you would see it that soon. And yeah. But like I said, it helps support the channel and helps support me, and I do really appreciate it. And I also have a Ko-fi in case you're feeling overly generous. But yeah, anyways, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.